Buying a saddle for your bike, be that a cruisy town bike or an out-and-out racer, can be a tricky business. It's very tempting to just go out and buy one that you saw someone else using. But this rarely ends well. Before we jump into actually picking a saddle, it can take ages, so don't worry if you spend years like me finding the right saddle. Even pro racers can have problems when their teams change sponsors. So let's take a look at some of the points that need to be considered before we go saddle shopping. There are a few general considerations to be made to narrow down your options, the first of which is anatomy. Everyone is different, and the most obvious difference is gender. There is a huge range of women-specific saddles, but no gender should feel limited to their saddles. Women-specific saddles generally feature a cutout or softer central padding. Now this is designed to relieve soft tissue pressure. That said, the central cutout first seen on women's saddles has now morphed its way over to men's saddles as well, so don't be afraid to try both. I know that really hasn't narrowed things down. Sorry. The next consideration to make is about your positioning. Firstly, we have the upright position that is generally found on super relaxed commuters. As the bars get lower and the rider leans over further, we move through the fitness, sportive and race positions. As the position gets more and more race orientated, less of the rider's weight is placed on the saddle, with more weight transferred through the core to the rider's arms and shoulders. As a result, saddles generally go from wide with the most padding for the upright position and get narrower with less padding as we go towards the race position. So a great way to start your search is to analyse your position and see where you sit on the scale. As we get to the sportier end of the scale, flexibility becomes really important. Certain saddle shapes with a higher rear end are designed to help you maintain an aerodynamic position. For those with less flexibility, a saddle with a higher rear end can help hold you in an aerodynamic position. Conversely, if you've got more flexibility, a flatter saddle will allow you to move around more. The final general consideration to make is that time is a healer, quite literally in this case. Give your new saddle time to bed in. Give yourself a few rides to at least try it out, and don't dismiss it if it's uncomfortable on the first ride. Some saddles, like those fancy Brooks commuter saddles, even get better with age as the leather softens. While those general considerations should have helped you narrow down your selection, there are some key features to look out for when buying a new saddle. A central cutout aims to maintain blood flow. While it works for some, it's not a golden ticket to comfort. Taking away material from the centre of the saddle increases pressure either side of the cutout. Some people really don't like this. A dropped nose is loved by some racers because it allows them to find more comfort when in an aero position. This is simply because the nose is out of the way. There's a reason that wide rear ends are featured on so many commuter saddles. Generally, a wide rear end is considered better for relaxed position. Just think of city bikes. Again, generally, a narrow saddle nose will be favoured by riders in a race position, but like the cutout, it's not always a magic cure. You'll find that more padding is generally used for comfort saddles, but more might not be best. Sometimes, placing the padding under the sit bones is all that's needed for a comfortable ride. Then again, we wouldn't expect you to go as far as going for this tuned Sky Racer saddle. That's rock hard carbon. The golden piece of advice, however, is a pretty simple one. While you might be able to buy a saddle online and fit it pretty easily, we'd really recommend heading to your local bike shop, even if you're an experienced rider. Firstly, the bike shop will be able to assess your position and your bike setup. They can then talk you through all of the available options from the brands that they stock. Secondly, and this is the best thing about going to the local bike shop to buy your saddle, you'll be able to take advantage of any test scheme or test saddles that the bike shop has. Quite often, the shop will work with brands to provide a saddle or test saddle that you can either borrow for a certain period of time, or you can buy it, and then if you don't get on with it, they'll swap you over to something else from the range. Hopefully, the combination of their knowledge and a few test saddles will mean that you are out riding your bike in comfort, be that a really relaxed commuter or a racy aero bike. So there are our top tips. What do you agree with? Have you found the magic saddle? How long did it take you? We kind of want your horror stories mainly. Remember to like, comment and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back with more videos very soon.